Hello, fundamentals class. Welcome to week 4. Week 3 work should still be open, but I've officially opened week 4 for you guys. And week 4 is the much dreaded compound meters, which happens to align with where we are in theory 1, if you're in theory 1, right? So compound meters are not easy for some reason. I think for new musicians or young musicians, people just learning these things, it's an overwhelming process. Like, what does this mean, compound meter? So I just want to say a few things that maybe will help you with compound meter. If you go in and you read the chapter in the online textbook about compound meter, and then you go in to take the test and the practice stuff and all that, you'll see that they teach you like these lollies and tatis and things like that. And that's fine. If you wrap your head around that, that's fine. If you don't, the big thing with compound meter is that everything is divisible by 3. Okay, so the numerator of the time signature, the top number, is always divisible by 3. And the bottom number, the denominator, if you will, is the subdivision of the beat. Okay, that's different than simple meter. Okay, so again, in compound meter, the top number is divisible by 3, and that's how many subdivisions are in each measure. And the bottom number, the denominator, is what is the subdivision, what is the subdivision of the beat. And so, if the meter is 12/16, that means that there are 12/16th notes per measure. 16th notes. I kind of delayed there, but so the thing with compound meter is, imagine, go with me on this trip, that you've got a meter that's 12, let's go 12/8 rather than 16, right? So imagine you've got 12/8 notes. Can you imagine for a piece of music, counting to 12, the entire piece of music? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is monotonous. It's boring. It's awful. And then as you get into it, you'll be like, okay, am I on 10? Oh my gosh, what number am I on? Counting like that would get really monotonous really quickly. So what we have to learn how to do in compound meter to combat that is to recognize the big groupings of notes, big groupings of 3. Okay, so this is what I do. Here's my process. If sticking with 12/8, I'm expecting to see 12/8 notes per measure. Once I see 12, the equivalency of 12/8 notes in a measure, that measure is full, I'm getting a new measure, right? But I don't want to count to 12. So what I do is I take 12, divide it by 3, because compound meters are divisible by 3. So I take the top number, that 12, divide it by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I'm looking for 4 big pulses. Okay? So 1, 2, 3 is a big pulse. 4, 5, 6 is a big pulse. 7, 8, 9 is a big pulse. 10, 11, 12 is a big pulse. Okay? So now, instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I can count 1 tati, 2 tati, 3 tati, 4 tati, if you like tati. I don't like tati so much, but I understand where they came up with it and how it can be beneficial. It's just not my style. But if you understand that, that's fine. What I really would like for you guys to be able to do is just kind of wrap your head around that you don't count to 12. Recognize that there are those 12 subdivisions, but know how to find the bigger unit, okay? So that you can eventually get to 1 da 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 2 da da, right? So 1 da da, 2 da da, 3 da da, 4 da da. You still get those nice pulses of 3, but it has much more flow to it, and I'm not counting to 12. Because again, that would be awful. About 10 measures in, you'd want to scream. And I think that's a more beneficial way of looking at it. I think it's also a help, though, to recognize where, what each subdivision would be counted. That way, when you get, like, if you're in 12/8, but you got to measure 16th notes, you would know how to count that equally. So you could say this would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 9 and 10 and 11 and, I got tripped up on my tongue even trying to do that. But if I recognize where those big beat units are, I can slow it down, practice it, counting to 12, get it figured out in my head, and then I can go right back into counting it in a big 4, and it'll have much better flow. Okay, so that's the thing with compound meters. Compound meters divisible by 3. The time signature tells you exactly how many subdivisions are going to be in the beat or in each bar. But again, we're looking for those big groupings of 3 notes. So 12, 8 time would have 4 groupings of 3/8 notes. Okay? So I hope that helps. If not, feel free to ask me any questions. Do your best on the tests. I always grade graciously because I know some of this is really hard. So just do your best, and if you have any more questions or anything like that, just shoot me an email and we'll talk about it and we'll get it figured out. Hope you guys have a great day. I'm in Detroit the rest of the week, so if you need me, shoot me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Bye.